Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Black Quad Edge VTF here, T3 Live with this week's market wrap up and earnings. Lots of fun. So let's get to it. SPY goes new highs. So if you look at the Spider S&P, what you did here, it's called momentum hammer up and just going into the highs. And basically, when you see, let me blow that up for you. I'm going to show you a few things. When you see something like hammer like this, what you know is they did is they stopped a bunch of people out with the tight stops. This stuff, and then hammer right back up into the highs. Which, if you look at the small cappers, these things are drying up into nothing inside days and just absolutely doing nothing over there. So we want to go where the diamonds still rocking. It's slowly but surely this tight range stuff like this, but slowly and surely going up there. So that was really QQQ. And I want to show you in QQQ is a little bit, I talk about the inside bars a lot, but I want to talk about the importance of the outside bars and how and why they're important. So if we take a look at the daily here, QQQ, all right, what you're going to see, you're going to see an outside bar, which is a fractal triangle. What that means is it has to be a broadening formation on a shorter term time frame because it took out both sides of the range. It can't not be. So when we have an actionable signal hammer like this, right? Anything above that, we're looking to take this out because what an outside bar means, when people try to do chart patterns like geometry, you want to understand what it means. What it means is that the participants are willing to pay above the previous high and sell down below the previous low. That's important information to know because if they do that again, this thing's going to get bigger. Did it do that? It did. And when hammer counters outside bar and then comes back up through, and so in order to be able to time that, then we can go back to the inside bar here inside 60, and that's if you follow me on Twitter, you see the gorilla ring in the triangle, and that's what's something you want to know about because right here inside 60 up, and that reconfirmed the daily hammer back into that triangle, which is this here, these highs, these lows, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, bam, and off you go, right? And if I'll pull this out, you'll see it. All right, and you'll see the lower lows, stop them out, and the higher highs off of this here. Now it doesn't have to make it to the line. All it's got to do is take that out because it's still higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. And so when it takes that 60 out, we're looking to at least take that out. And if we're lucky, we keep going. And that's exactly what happened. So that's how you can put all the pieces, parts together, and then you can break it down into like SMH. As SMH, there you go at the end of the day, inside 60 up. But we already knew that because all that did was reconfirm the inside day up with the Q stuff. So that's some of the ways you can put that together. I teach this stuff here at T3 Live, and I tweet a lot of it out at Robin the Black during the day, and I make it a more extensive video of this stuff over the weekend. If you'd like to get that, contact T3. Other than that, everybody's like, ooh, everybody's watching Apple gap and do nothing, and that's one of the things when we look at the gap list. And I tweet out the gap list, hashtag mind the gap every morning. If it's going into new highs, you're at exhaustion risk because the biggest moves are going to come like this when you're going back through previous ranges. And the reason that is because anybody short still has something to be a point of reference to be short against. But once you get up into here, they got nothing. So up in here, you've blown them all out. If the buyers don't step up, you get this. Gap and crap do nothing. And that's kind of what was going on there. So as opposed to focusing on a stock, we want to look at the conditions. So every morning when I tweet this stuff out, we want to see what's going on in this stuff. And so Cirrus Logic was nice right at the opening, gaps up, and then just comes ripping back through the range here. Through the range. And so one of the good things is, and not everybody's going to be this fast, but it's important to see because even it'll work on 30s and 60 minutes and all that kind of stuff, but on the 5 minute, here, you'll see right here it opens. It goes. You had 15 minutes to watch this thing and do nothing. It opens, goes inside 15, or I mean inside 5, and then here, right there, as it breaks this equilibrium, the inside bar, boom, 1, 2, 3, take all these guys out in one shot. And that was nice. If you look at Molina Health, MOH. And MOH right out the gap or shoot inside 5 to the upside, inside 5 to the upside. But here, not everybody's going to be that fast, and I understand that. All you had to do is wait. You could wait a half an hour on this gap, and it goes inside 15er, and off she goes. OLED was the same, inside 15 to start the day, right? And so this is the difference on what type of gaps to watch and how to play them, as opposed to just sitting there and staring at them. And then STMP was just a full-on smackdown right out the chute. And there was some shorter-term ways to get in this, but that's what we want out of the gaps. We want them to move from the gap and not stay in that opening range. And once you get those signals, because this is when you're going to get those biggest moves. Ready? Like I said, here, it's not going into the highs. It's opening here and it's ripping through this range. And now, when it finally gets down here, then nobody has any points of reference to be long against. And anybody can feel like, oh, I'm going to get long against the pivot. Boom, 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 take them out, right? So another example here of like watching the combination of the outside bar to the inside bars. If you look at lending tree, and you'll see this monthly, big outside bar when you got outside of that. But last week, here, was an outside week, and so above 270 is above that outside week. What that means is that triangle is expanding, right? If we go back to QQQ, not only was it the hammer counters the outside day, but as you'll see here, it was also outside of an outside week. What that tells me is the broadening formation is expanding, right? We're taking that out as long as we're above that. If you go to TREE, you'll see the same thing up in here, and then if you go to the daily, you can time it with the inside day, and as that comes up into here, you can time it with the inside 60. Inside 60 triggers inside day up, continuation of that outside week. So just a little bit to there. So also this morning, if you see Regeneron, or if you see IBB doing this, IBB came up right away, right? When Qs did this, right at the shoot, Qs open and go down a little bit and then go inside. But right on this opening, IBB did this. IBB went straight up. And so what that tells us is that right out the chute, if the Qs are going to come up, we've already got some early strength in IBB, and that alerts us to go look for inside days and actual signals breaking to the upside, which we knew was Regeneron. Here, Regeneron breaks at 402.99, goes out 408.41, not bad. So that's another way that you can do things coming out, watching the opening and putting all the pieces, parts together. And a lot of people are always trying to pick the tops. And if you're going to short something, time frame continuity is trading lower than the opening of the month, the week, the day, and the 60. And so ideally, you want to do something that's going down. That'd be Nordstrom. Here, monthly, it's red. This week, still dumping. How about today? Yep. Right. And so just try and go with the flow like that. And then another great thing we had today was DCIX, right? Most people have no idea what to do when they see something doing this, right? It actually closed lower, but it's not showing it just here. So I have no idea how to trade something like this. And just like those gappers, if you look here, there was a lot of shorter term setups too, but this is an inside on the 15. Inside 15. Boom, right? And you can see this. There's a momentum hammer. And so there's a lot of ways you want to be. If something goes from 4 up to 18 or 20, you want to be able to know how to do that. You don't want to just sit there and go, whoa, it's too hairy for me. No, there's ways in there, and there's plenty of them. And there's a lot of short-term stuff on that, too. So coming up for next week, like I said, that this small cappers are just ridiculous, right? Until they can get out of here. Really want to see that break. That break is going to get interesting eventually. Right now it's not. So we're seeing some stuff like that in financials. FAS, inside day here after the outside day. And these weeklies, you're going to see stuff like JP Morgan, Bank of America, inside weeks. So I want to see if we can get those financials breaking out of that kind of stuff. We also got some strength because of crude oil coming up. And here's another way you can see the broadening formation without seeing it. So you see that whenever you get a tight range like this, more often than not, when you get a tight range, you're going to take out both sides, right? And so here's the test of these guys. Take them out. Then you come back in, take them out. This is higher than that. And so what that does is it shows you a broadening formation like this. Here, higher highs and lower lows in the oils. So with the crude oil making a nice move, there are certainly some things to do. XEC here comes up in XEC. You're going to see this. Broadening formation support, inside bar and up for the day to day. CXO, inside day to the upside, and you can see on these weeklies, these things are on the move. And so this is something we want to know going forward, something that's on the move this month for sure. EOG. So then we can break it down to timing some other things, and we can look at the monthlies, and you'll have Devon Energy. and that's an inside month to the upside. You've got Murphy Oil is inside month on the upside. APC did and then backed off, but we're close to taking that, so we'll kind of see how that goes. And transport's also stinking the joint up. We can't get out of their own way here, trannies, just yet. It's not the end of the world, but you'll see this, and now an inside day for IYT. To see if they're just going to keep walking lower like this and it's just going to keep pouring on the tech, or if we get anything out of the trannies. And, of course, with new highs and all that kind of fun, VXX goes to new all-time lows again. And once enough, you get fortunate, you get that spike, and you just sell right into that. And, per these methods that I'm showing you here, and it goes back to the lows because we do not have any volatility except for these earnings and those. That's why we stay on these things that are on the move, because that's how you're going to be able to capture these things for $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, stuff like that. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I hope everybody had a great week and has an even better weekend. I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quantity VTF here at T3 Live with this week's market wrap up.